Hello and welcome to Building the Best. I'm Bliznub, this is the Opticor, let's take a look at it. So this weapon deals stupid amounts of damage, absolutely ridiculous amounts of damage, but that's not all. No, it's sniper accurate, as you can see from this 100% accuracy, uses standard rifle ammunition so you will never run out, and it has a blast, which means it benefits from Firestorm, which is, in my mind, like the best mod in this game, hands down. Better than Serration. But we're going to put Serration on anyway, because that's also a pretty good mod. We're also going to put on Split Chamber and Shred. Well, the reason being, this is a charge weapon. Shred's fire rate will benefit that massively. And it also has Punch Through, which means that the blast effect of the Opticor will apply on the second target it hits after the Punch Through, meaning you can go for single target damage as well as an area of effect against crowds in the same shot. And that is ridiculous. So we're also going to put on Heavy Caliber for the insane damage. And of course Heavy Caliber has negative accuracy, but this weapon has almost 100% accuracy, so it doesn't actually affect it much. And what we're going to do here is put on... Thinking... Hellfire, Cryo Rounds, so we're getting blast damage, and we're going to change our mind at the last minute and go for a build I was thinking of earlier, but was too scared to do, because it was terrifying. What we're going to do is put Speed Trigger on here, Thermite Rounds on here, and what on earth is that mod called? Piercing Caliber. Now what we're getting here is only a little bit of heat damage, which honestly doesn't benefit us that much. You could swap that out for any element you like, depending on the enemy you're going up against. I just like heat because the proc means damage per second, which all in all means crazy damage. But what we're getting here, and what's most important, is 15,000 puncture damage. That is enough on-hit puncture damage to kill pretty much any enemy on the solar map. You know, bosses excluded. Piercing Caliber obviously helping that massively. And we're also almost doubling this weapon's fire rate with Speed Trigger and Shred, which, in my mind, makes this far more usable, and you'll see in a second why, honestly, Speed Trigger to increase this thing's fire rate benefits it more than, I don't know, doubling this elemental damage. And the reason I mentioned earlier that I want another Former on this thing, did I mention that earlier? Was that different? Whatever. We have 4 Former and a Kata, and that isn't enough. I want another 2 Former on this thing. I want to go 6 Former build on this, and instead of Thermite and Speed Trigger, have Cryo Rounds and Hellfire, and get absolutely insane amounts of elemental damage. But I don't have time for that today, so what we're doing is this. So on target we have roughly 20,000 damage, and it will also deal 20,000 damage in an area of effect behind whatever we hit. Meaning that if we're up against a single enemy, which requires all of our damage to be pumped into his head, go straight for him. If we're up against the crowd, just aim at the floor, except that some of them are going to be slightly outside the AoE and won't get all of the damage dealt to them. And you can see here the fire rate, which is normally 1 round per second, is now almost 2 rounds per second. That makes this weapon far more usable, especially as you cannot hold a charged shot, the only downside of the Opticor. And oh my god, this weapon is beautiful. There are no words. Also, is it silent? Nothing? Okay, he's noticed me. 45k crit to the head, that's... oh, 43k crit to the head. Should be pointed out, you can crit build this weapon. You do not get a substantial amount of crit chance, so I don't like to, as I prefer to have guaranteed damage over a chance. But it doesn't really matter. This weapon's standard damage is enough to kill anything on the solar map. And as I say, you will never run out of ammunition with this weapon, as it takes from the standard rifle ammo pool, so why not up its fire rate? And oh, I'm sorry, this weapon is just too beautiful. Let me just take a minute to oh, there it is. Anyhow, this weapon deals absolutely insane damage. It is, of course, a clan weapon. You get it from the Corpus Research Lab. Oh, sorry, the Energy Research Lab? Whatever it's called. The one where you do the Corpus thing and the field run and stuff, and things happen. And seriously, Leech Osprey, just die. Just die. So if I can get a crowd gathered together over here, I'm sure I can. Oh, well, this counts. You can see this weapon is amazing at dealing with crowds if you just fire, not at your own feet, but at their feet. And I believe the Opticor is not capable of friendly fire, as in you cannot hurt yourself with it. Let's just test. No self-damage, so this is slightly better than, for instance, the Haiku, which I showed you yesterday. Should be noted with the Opticor, you have to at least half charge the weapon to fire, otherwise the weapon will jam when you attempt to fire, and you will be unable to fire it for a full second. Anyhow, this weapon is delightful. I know it's a clan weapon, I know it's really, really expensive, but just get it. Stick 6 Former on it, encounter it, and love it forever. This weapon is fantastic. It's a silent laser blasts rifle with an AoE. It's just... oh. I'm Bliznub. This is the Opticor. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and comment below. Subscribe if you want to see more.